Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you seasoned veterans of what we do around here. What we do around here is bring about conversations in a variety of social, psychological, and emotional topics. We do that on a daily basis, or almost daily anyway. We've got over 650 available for your listening pleasure. Hopefully, several that you find helpful and meaningful to you. Please subscribe, like, comment, do all that good stuff below. If you are looking for a life, relationship, or entertainment coach, as we kind of get back on things in a good way as we move back towards life, we certainly want to do that. If you're looking for that, I can certainly be of assistance, or at least try to be. Worked with over 15,000 people in several dozen countries over the last 14 years. Would love to make you part of that. So people at the top, how do they think? That's one of the things we look at. And if you're trying to get to the top of your field or in your life in some way, would love to be of assistance to you. You can reach out at PO Perception on Twitter or in the About Me section of this particular YouTube page. There is my website, my contact team email, and all that good stuff. So I kind of look at six or seven things that top thinkers do, and the next is they look for breakthrough. So a lot of times people who are trying to get to a better place in their life are just looking at circumstances, but not necessarily breakthrough. Breakthrough is the moment where you don't have to look back at a circumstance. It's that moment where you've actually figured out how to solve a persistent challenge or problem. It's that moment where you actually have a solution in hand, and you should look for solution-based rather than patch-based living. So solution-based living is, I'm looking for something that will make this annoying thing, this frustrating thing, this thing that takes my time away in a way I don't want to go away. And that's solution-based living. But breakthrough-based living is, I'm looking for a fix that leads me to not have to deal with this on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis any longer. And a person who is fully committed to breakthrough living is a person who gets further and gets more out of life. Make sure you have a life that fits you. So if you are a person who, for example, I'm going to use myself as an example here. I hate mornings. I have hated mornings my entire life. I remember being a very young kid under teenage years and hating getting up for school because I hate mornings. My favorite cartoon character is Garfield the cat, and I identify with Garfield because he hates Mondays. Well, I hate mornings as much as Garfield hates Mondays. So when I hit my teenage years, done with high school, I learned that I work better at night and I work better second and third shift. And I've built my life around that reality. Now, along the way, I've sometimes been in relationships or jobs short term that made me have to change that. But I always came back to building a life that allowed me to work when it was best for me. Build a life also where socialization works best for you, where your time is best spent. So don't build a life based on what other people think is right for them. And a lot of people do this, especially when it comes to family obligations or friendship obligations. And certainly you have to factor those in from time to time. But when you are living for another person's lifestyle, you eventually will resent that person, and also you won't be getting as much out of your life in the long or medium term as you could be if you were building a life that actually works for you. The next one is one that I love, and that's learn from your pain. I have been an abuse survivor. I've helped people through suicidal ideation. I've been diagnosed with long-term illnesses that are chronic. I've done a lot of things that a lot of people wouldn't have to. And even when I go through those things, and most of them I don't enjoy, and most of them are painful, and they bring about negative emotions, anger and frustration and tears and sadness and all this stuff, but I learn from them. And how can I use this to help myself? How can I use this to help others? How can I use this to make the world a better place? And if you really want to be at the top of thinking, if you really want to be a leader in your life, have to take the worst things in your life, repurpose them, retell a different story about how they impacted your life to make it mean something different so that you can use it for your advantage. Because when you learn from your pain then has a new purpose, and you won't get as caught up in the negative thought when the new purpose becomes at the helm of what that pain means for and to you. The next thing is Find a dream and live for it, live to it, or live about it. One of the things that I was really blessed to do when I was 15 years old, and it's been hard. Some of the damage to my throat through abuse has turned into scar tissue over the years, and so if you notice when I do my recordings, I'm a little winded, and sometimes my voice will kind of go in and out on me. That wasn't as big a problem 15, 20 years ago as it is now. But anyway, I was blessed as a teenager and throughout my 20s to get broadcast training and do broadcasting, and that is a thing that's kept me going my entire life. Now I do some sideline voiceover work and other great things, but that is a passion for me, and it will be until my final day. I'm living that dream, and every time I do a YouTube audio like this or other things, I'm still living that dream. It may not be in the way that I originally intended. It may not be exactly the way that I wish it was and had played out completely, but live for your dreams, whatever they are. And if you haven't found your dream, the first thing is find it and then live for it in some way. Become obsessed with your own improvement. Don't become obsessed with outcomes. Become obsessed with improvement. Michael Jordan said it best in an interview several years ago. He said, I don't compete with other people. I compete with my version of my best. And that is super, super powerful, because when you're competing with other people, sometimes they'll surpass you and you have to deal with the negative emotions. If you're competing with your best, there's always tomorrow. There's always the next try. There's always the next day, the next moment. And you will get progress when you go there in that way. The last thing that top thinkers do is they really understand that change happens and we have to go with it at all times. Going with change doesn't necessarily mean agreeing with it. Sometimes it just means accepting that it's there and figuring out how to recalibrate after change and then figure out how to relate to the world in a new and better way. It doesn't necessarily mean we have to like it. It doesn't mean we have to be happy about it, but it does mean we have to deal with it in a way that makes sense to us. That understanding is one of the most valuable things you can easily do in accordance with giving yourself a better quality of life. So hopefully that's helpful. I encourage you to keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Till next time, everybody.